This video is sponsored by ETaker. So I have in front of me here the ETaker M2000 portable power station solar generator. And it's quite a special unit because most of these units are made out of plastic. However, this is made out of an aluminum alloy, so it's a very solid case. In addition, this has semi-solid state batteries in it, and it has a new gallium nitride AC inverter. So a lot to talk about, and I did quite a bit of tests on this unit, and I want to share those results with you. I'm John, and this is Cleanerwatt. Now, before I move on to various tests, I just want to briefly talk about the semi-solid state batteries. That's, of course, a brand new technology when it comes to batteries. It's not solid state batteries, but it's a semi-solid state battery. These are somewhere around 30 to 50% more energy dense than lithium iron phosphate batteries. So that allows this to be a little more compact than an LFP version would be with the same capacity. It's only around 8.5 inches wide, just a little bit over 10 inches tall, and just under 14 inches deep here. So a very compact unit, easy to carry around with these two big handles here. This compact ETaker power station has an inverter that is rated at 2,000 watts of output with a surge of up to 4,000. So you should be able to momentarily plug something in and it can surge up to 4,000. So it should be able to do that, but continuously this should be able to run 2,000 watts of output, which is very impressive. I'm going to get it up right as close as I can to that 2,000 watts, and then we'll also do a test of that surge by overloading this as well. So let's go ahead and see how well this can run this cooktop here, and we'll talk about how quiet this is. Okay, right now we're at 118.7 volts. Let's go ahead and turn on the first burner of the cooktop. Okay, with that burner running, we're at 118.2 volts, so still solid there. And it shows that that burner is pulling 1.05 kilowatts of power right now as that's running. Let me go ahead and turn on the second burner, and that should get us close to around 1,800 watts, very close to that. Okay, right now we're pulling 1.69 kilowatts of power continuously from this device, and it shows that we can run that load right now with an 83% state of charge for 58 minutes, 57 minutes now. But notice right now, I'm going to be quiet for a second, there's no fan noise. Even at 1.69 kilowatts, this device is incredibly quiet. I'm extremely impressed with how quiet this is. Our voltage is at 117.9, so still good there. And this is very impressive performance as far as how quiet it is. It's running this just fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the cooktop and disconnect the kilowatt device. Then I want to test this heater here. Okay, with the heater on high, it's pulling over 1.5 kilowatts of power. Now I'm going to see if we can go ahead and overload this by turning on one side of the cooktop and just see what happens, how long it takes for that inverter to shut off when we get over 2 kilowatts. Okay, the cooktop is connected once again. I'm going to turn on the small burner and see how long it can run both the heater and the small burner. Okay, I am overloading it right now. It's over 2 kilowatts. Remember, this is rated at a 2 kilowatt output, 2,000 watts. And while I am technically over the output, you notice that it's not kicking off. That is very impressive. I do notice that the fan came on for this device. Finally, I can finally hear that fan coming on, and it's making a little bit of noise, but it is impressive that it's able to pull over 2 kilowatts right now, and it's not shutting off the inverter. Once again, it's only rated at 2,000 watts. Let's just let that run for a while and see if it will eventually shut off. I'm really impressed right now that this is running for so long over its rated output here. I'm going to turn off the small burner, turn on the big burner, and see how long it takes if I get that wattage output a little higher before this thing actually shuts off. Once again, we are over the rating that it's set for, but it does have the ability to surge up to 4,000 for short periods of time. Okay, turn the big cooktop on. Okay, now we're really going over. We're at 2.5. Okay. So once I got over 2.5 kilowatts, once it held that for a little bit, it of course shut off the inverter to protect itself. And That's completely expected. But once again, it was able to run over 2,000 watts, over 2 kilowatts of output, and it didn't shut off at that rate. And I'm very impressed with that. So as I demonstrated, this unit can definitely put out 2,000 watts continuously without a problem. However, I tried to run a chop saw and a table saw with this device, and it could not power them up. So here's that test with those results. Okay, I got both saws plugged in. I'm going to set this to the side and monitor the wattage output while we're running these tools and see what it can do. Okay, so I got on eye protection, ear protection, and hand protection, and I'm going to see how well it runs the table saw. Okay, it's actually not able to run the power saw. The startup is too much for it, interestingly enough. Let's try the chop saw. So honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that this power station was not able to run the chop saw or the table saw. The table saw, it wanted to start. It kind of made a sound like the saw was about to start, and then this inverter turned off. And with the chop saw, it even made a little less effort, and it just made a little bit of a noise of the motor turning on, and then this shut off. I also performed a discharge test to really see how much energy you can actually get, AC energy, out of this device, and that really tests how efficient the AC inverter is. According to ETaker, the gallium nitride AC inverter should be somewhere around 92 to 96% efficient. However, when I put it through this test, it was not as efficient as I thought it would be, and that test was done running a space heater on high at a little bit over 1400 watts. Okay, so I connected this to the charger and got that back up to a 100% state of charge. I'm going to plug in the heater, and then we're going to start our discharge test. Although this device has a stated battery capacity of 2008 watt-hours, when performing the discharge test, the inverter turned off at around a 1% state of charge, and at that point, the heater had only drawn around 1,650 watt-hours of energy from this power station. So if you do that math, that equates to around a 17.8% loss from DC power to AC power. And even if you go ahead and say, okay, this turned off at a 1% state of charge, and you adjust it for that, that's still around a 17% loss, or around an 83% efficiency for this device. So yes, I was running a device at over 1400 watts continuously, but the efficiency was nowhere near 92 or 96%, at least in my test. So to turn this on, you just simply hold down the power button. The screen comes on. It's nice and bright. It has your output and your input rating there, and it shows you how many watts are being output or input. And then you also have how many hours it would take to charge, or how many hours or minutes it would take to discharge, how much battery capacity you would have left, and how long you could be able to run whatever device you're pulling. You also have your button here to turn on the USB ports. You have USB-A and USB-C ports right there. Under this flap, you have various DC ports. And then down below, we have our regular 120 volt outlets. To turn on each of these sections, we just hold down the button, for example, to turn on the AC inverter. And you'll hear in a second that'll click over. That clicked over, and now the AC inverter is on and it can run. I really like with this device that when you're running it, it is quite quiet. So if you run this device at somewhere around 1,000 watts or under, it makes almost no noise, which it's much quieter than most units. The reason that this device is quieter than most power stations is because of the gallium nitride AC inverter, which is supposed to generate quite a bit less heat, which means the fans don't have to run quite as often. So that's definitely a benefit there. However, when it came to my discharge test, this unit once again shut off at around 1%. And I shortly after that plugged it in to charge it back up, And it took quite a while with the fans running before it would accept any kind of charge. And then even then, it took a very small amount of charge for a period of time while this was cooling off. So it took quite a while to cool this off after doing that full discharge at a little over 1400 watts. But nonetheless, this unit was able to cool itself down, and I was able to charge it at a good pace. Now let's talk about charging. This unit is rated to accept up to 1200 watts of AC charging, and that's plugging that into a regular 120 volt outlet. I was able to test this and get this over 1.1 kilowatts of charging, so over 1100 watts of charging. And according to ETaker, when charging this with a 120 volt outlet, it will charge fully in around 2 hours. In addition to AC charging, you can also charge this with solar panels, and this unit can receive up to 1000 watts of solar charging. Now this unit should have really good cold weather performance. According to ETaker, this has battery preheating technology. This allows it to warm up and work even in very cold environments. What I also really like is that you can use this as a home battery backup system as well, and you can connect 10 of these devices together. So since each one of these devices has just a little bit over 2 kilowatt hours of energy storage, that would give you a little bit over 20 kilowatt hours of storage with 10 of these connected together. And what I really like is that if you did connect 10 of these together, you would have a power output rating of up to 16 kilowatts. So plenty of power to run your home if you connected a bunch of these together. ETaker also sells various hubs that allow you to connect these devices together for home storage, home battery backup storage. And for example, if you get the ET200, that allows you to connect 2 of these devices together. And with 2 of these devices connected to that hub can put out 240 volts, not just 120 volts. And that would allow you to, for example, to charge an electric vehicle with that hub. So very expandable and also very portable. The unit they sent me came with 3 different cords, including this cord here if you want to charge with solar panels, the cord that you use if you want to charge it with a 120 volt outlet, and also a cord that you can use to charge it with a 12 volt car adapter as well. If you're interested in purchasing one of these units for yourself, I will put a link down in the video description where you can check it out and purchase one. Well, thank you so much for watching.